version. I am Dave Ritterhoff, one of the two hosts here at Professionally Profane. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel here as you get started with the video. But I'm David. I'm joined as always by my good friend, PCVIV, Mr. Phil Charles Vander Hayden the Fourth. Mr. Phil, how are you, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm great. And I'm very, very honored. This is a very special episode for me because I got three guys here that really, really helped support and kickstart my career or my dreams, really, in Chicago sports media. So, first, we got, returning friend of the show, Rishab Oh, I'm gonna butcher the last name. I'm not gonna do it to you. DaWindyCity Productionz. Everybody knows who he is, man. Everyone's favorite hype man for the Chicago Bears. Uh, Great content creator on YouTube, and we also have my first ever boss in my media journey. This is the man that gave me my shot at DaWindyCity.com, but he's risen much higher than that since then. He is now a lead NFL staff editor for FanSided. Ryan, thank you for being here. And we also have one of the first people that really gave me the time of day on Bears Twitter. When I had double-digit followers, I was a nobody. This guy, he was cool to me. He gave me the time of day. He talked ball with me, and I really appreciated that. Plus, he is a former veteran. He's a veteran. He's a former U.S. Marine. And he's also a writer for Chicago Bears on SI. Pete, thank you for being here as well, man.
Thanks, Philip.
Cool. Rashab, where can the people find you at on social media? Give them the tags.
Yeah, you can follow me at DWC Prods on Twitter. I got a YouTube account too, DaWindyCity Productionz. But yeah, glad to be on again. It's always a lot of fun.
And Ryan, how about your socials? Where can people find you at?
I'm most active on Twitter at Ryan Heckman NFL.
And then Pete, over to you. Where can the people get your content at?
Yeah, also Twitter at Pete_Martuneac.
Wonderful, guys. You could catch me at Davey.17. Phil, where can people find you at?
You can find me at JAYC Phil, which I don't have on the screen, but I also do have on the screen at Profane Pod, where I am Davey's much lesser tag team partner. He makes much better jokes. If they're funny, it's from him.
Will you stop?
And then you can also find me doing Chicago Bulls coverage for just another year, Chicago Bulls at JAYCHI_Bulls.
We love to hear it. So NFL draft, just a couple of weeks out still, but probably just enough time to where you've heard all the draft grades and you've heard every opinion on the players that, in this case, the Chicago Bears have taken. So at Professionally Profane, we can't just do boring. We can't do normal. We got to do our own little twist on things. And so for this week's episode, what we're going to do is, we just introduced Rishab, Ryan, Pete, Phil, and myself. Well, now we're all Ryan Poles today. All five of us. You got 5 Ryan Poles staring at you right now.
Those 5 Devontae Greens.
We are stepping into the shoes of Ryan Poles. And basically what we're going to do is for each of the Bears' first few picks, we are going to go through and say with the exact board that the Bears had at that pick, who we would have taken. A little bit of a redraft of sorts for the Bears' first few picks. And, we start right off with a pick that a lot of people did not see coming, somebody who wasn't mocked in very many cases to the Chicago Bears, but Colston Loveland, tight end from the University of Michigan, a 2023 national champion, by the way, with Big Blue. Got it rubbing in the face. Sorry, Phil. And people have had opinions about this pick. So, Pete, I'll start with you on this one, man. Number 9 goes up the board. You hear Calvin Banks goes to the Saints. You got your time now as general manager of the Bears. No trades. Where are you going here?
So, first of all, I do like the Colston Loveland pick, so this is not a downer on him. But if I was redrafting, no trades as that board fell, I'm actually going to go with someone I was high on throughout the whole pre-draft process, and that's Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama. The offensive line looks a lot better so far this offseason, but if there's one spot where I'm worried, it's right guard with Jonah Jackson. Injuries could pop up. Maybe his one really good year with Detroit was just a flash in the pan, and who he was with the Rams is closer to what we'll get, which is not that good. And Tyler Booker, he's the best pure guard in this draft, day one impact starter. So if worst came to worst, you could plug him right into that right guard spot and not miss a beat. So that's what I would go with.
Wow, definitely a surprising prediction. I know personally, I was really high on Tyler Booker, so I don't hate that, especially if you're worried about right guard. Rishab, how about you, man? Do you like that pick of Tyler Booker? Would you have made that pick, or do you have someone else in mind you'd like to go with?
Yeah, Booker would have been interesting for sure. I think honestly, I would have just gone with Loveland as well. I mean, if not him, maybe one of the edge rushers, maybe Michael Williams. I think he went after that. Jalen Walker could have been decent options. I believe both were on the board, but yeah, if it wasn't Colson Loveland, I'd probably go edge because edge is probably the biggest need right now on the Bears roster. But I'm totally fine with the Colson Loveland pick. I mean, I had him over Tyler Warren pre-draft. I think he fits the Bears a lot better. He's more of the athletic pass catching tight end, where Cole Kmet is, not nearly as athletic as Loveland is. So I'm overall pretty happy with the pick. I know a lot of Bears fans weren't the happiest because they think this means Cole Kmet is not going to have a role on this offense anymore. But I disagree with that. I mean, Ben Johnson used a lot of 12 personnel last year in Detroit. Like everybody got targets in that offense, right? So I don't think this means Cole Kmet is going to be completely phased out, but he's probably not going to get another contract after this. I mean, after that's probably going to be fully Loveland time. But I was pretty happy with the pick, I'd say.
I love to hear that. Ryan, you're on the clock now, Mr. Ryan Poles number 3. You have the whole board in front of you after the Saints go. Where are you going for the Bears?
I'm going Michael Williams. Without a doubt, thought he was the best pass rusher in the draft. And to me, you take the best player available. He's just a physical, nasty pass rusher, which to me screams Chicago Bears football. It screams 1985 football, which for the love of God, please bring back finally. We've been close, but I really want that mean streak to come back. I want everybody to have the attitude like Jalen Johnson, and I think that's Michael Williams. That said, I got to agree with Rishab. I don't even get me started on the Cole Kmet conversation because it's hilarious.
Are you Team Cole? Are you Team Cole?
Yeah.
I like Cole Kmet, but the whole notion that this pick is going to replace Kmet is hilarious because if you're involved in the fantasy community at all, how many times did Brock Wright catch a crucial pass or even a touchdown over the last couple of years? And you're going, what the heck? That was my Laporta touchdown. No, it was Brock Wright. So imagine if he had Sam Laporta and Colson Loveland out there, if he had somebody better than Laporta, or sorry, not better than Laporta, better than Brock Wright standing next to Laporta, how much more they would have used him, how much less they probably would have used guys like Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds. So I think the Bears didn't get the pick wrong by any means. Loveland is a phenomenal player, and he's one of the 3 players I would have taken there at that pick. So can't be mad.
I do have a follow-up question. I want to make sure that I think I understood when you said Michael Williams is the best pass rusher. Did you mean after Abdul Carter, or were you making a big claim right there?
No. Don't crucify me. Yes, that's what I meant. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying, because this would be my first and last episode with you guys.
No,
Yeah,
man.
that he's a nice guy, but he's kind of a lunatic. No, yes, the best pass rusher available after Abdul Carter.
Okay.
Why didn't you cut me off sooner, man? Don't let the listeners think I'm an idiot for 4 minutes.
They got to know Ryan.
Man.
Heckman. No such thing as bad takes with Ryan Heckman. I knew
Yeah.
that's what everyone knew that's what you meant. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I've heard some hot takes. Listen, I've heard hot takes this draft cycle. I don't know if anybody's heard anything that makes them like really go like, ooh, but I've heard some people say things this cycle that have really they've been tough.
Well, and it makes sense, to be fair, because outside of maybe you could argue maybe the top 5 to 7, 5 to 8 prospects in the draft, no one knew it. No one had a clue how the first round, second round, and beyond that, it was anybody's game. So,
yeah, no, very good point. Phil, I want to hear you, man. You're Ryan Poles. Where are you going at number 10? I know we have the reaction of our reaction to the pick coming out soon on our vlog from the draft, but
yes. Okay, yeah. So, quick shout out there. I actually shout out to my dad who's doing the editing for that. That is going to be out soon. He's been showing me stuff. It's looking really good. So look out for that vlog. It's going to be sweet. But I was torn here. I'm going to do something, I guess, that sounds maybe crazy. And I guess it all depends on what they all thought of his background. But if I was going to go with someone other than Colson Loveland, who I do love, by the way, it would have been Mike Green. And I think it's because I think he's the best pass rusher other than Abdul Carter in the class for me. I thought that he was really solid. He had a bag, he has counter moves. I understand why you might not go there if you looked into his past and you felt bad about that stuff. But listen, I'm not the police and I don't have that information. So just from a football player's perspective, I'm going to go with Mike Green at number 10. So
love it. Number 10. Would anybody be super opposed to Mike Green that high or any of the Bears picks at all? I mean, Peter, Ryan, do you guys would you guys be okay with Mike Green if they would take a 10, not knowing how far he would fall?
Not in a million years.
I think I would have been a little displeased at the value there. I don't think anyone truly expected him to go in the first round. Like, there was a lot of hype about it, but if you had to, gun to your head, is he going in the first round? I think most people would have said no.
Yeah, it was a player.
It would either drop to 40, 40s.
I thought that was pretty
Something
nuts.
like that.
It was
I think he was picked 58, I believe, and he was at back end of the second round to Baltimore.
No, I think he's super talented too. I really like him, but and as much as I love you, Phil, not in a million years would I ever take Mike Green. Not even in the second round. I would. Nope. Sorry.
Ooh.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have proved time and time again that you can only squeeze so much talent out of a moron off the field. So, and on the field. Let's be real about Pickens. So, might be talented, but no, I don't want that type of person, that type of character.
Okay.
That guy who's not a chance, not in a million years.
That's fair.
I love you, Phil.
The Bears also had 3.
Phil, I gotta hug you like through the screen right now, dude, because I feel like you're attacked.
You're okay. You're
my guy.
You're my guy. Opinions here. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, dude.
Rishab, go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying the Bears had like 3 chances to draft him, right? Like we passed on him with every single pick that we had. So that tells you a lot. I mean, I feel like, with all the stuff off the field, the Bears have never gone after the off the field issue guys for the most part, especially under Ryan Poles. Like that's why we didn't go after Jalen Carter last year when on the board, like he, football only, he probably would have been the best player available for the Bears, but that was a major reason why they didn't go after him. So I don't think there was any chance the Bears were going to select him, even if he dropped to like round 4 or 5 somehow. Okay, maybe in like round 5 they would have taken a swing on him, but like even then, like I don't know. Like I'm not mad the Bears didn't go after him.
I mean, I love the Loveland pick. I'm good. Like I'm totally good. I didn't want to be lame though and just stick with that. You know what I mean? So if I was going to go to another position, I just liked him as the number 2 edge on the board. But I get what you guys are saying. It's all good.
One last thing about Loveland to kind of piggyback off of what Ryan said earlier about how he's not here to replace Cole Kmet, which is a ridiculous notion. And no disrespect to Colson Loveland, I think he's a fine player, but I won't go so far as to call it a panic pick, but I think that was just a pick that Poles settled on. I think if you asked him honestly, the first 9 picks went as poorly as he could have hoped. So I don't think they didn't pick Loveland because, oh yeah, we're going to get this guy. He's the tight end upgrade we're looking for. It's just like, well, our top 4 or 5 guys are gone, so who's next? And again, no disrespect.
That's a great point. And there were teams that were actively trying to trade down, and a lot of teams tried and failed. Yeah. So to your point, Pete, I think that's a very smart thing to say. I would guarantee you that Paul was trying to trade down there and just couldn't get it done. So took the best player on his board, which not a panic pick, but it's a really good point.
Really quick, yes or no? If you had the 10 pick, would you have given up whatever it takes to move up to take anybody in particular, maybe specifically Ashton Genty?
Yes.
Or anybody in particular? Pete, you would give up whatever it takes?
Absolutely. I was all about that in the weeks before the draft.
Yeah.
I'm still really bummed we didn't get him. I would have given up the second rounder to go get him. That's just me. I know that's not popular, but
yeah. Rishab?
I would say no. Like if it's a second rounder, probably not. Only because like we used that second rounder to trade back so many times and like acquire so many picks in this year's draft. Which, obviously Ashton Genty is like a totally different caliber of prospect. So I would have been excited either way. It's just like a little bit questionable maybe to put all your chips in on a running back. But then again, if it happened, I would have been excited. So like for me, it's kind of 50-50. Like if it happened, I'd be happy, but I'm also not extremely bummed it didn't happen.
I was really looking forward to your Ashton Genty hype videos like that.
Oh man, the Kyle Manunga hype videos coming though.
Hey, Rishab, let me know when that drops specifically because it's kind of a running joke with myself and the editor over at Bear Goggles, Jordan Campbell, who I'm sure you guys know, good dude. The running joke is I've written so much Monungai hype for him that I'm just going to be the president of his fan club, and if he doesn't take over the job, then it's on me because I've done absolutely everything I can to make it happen. So,
Ryan, I don't know, the last time that we ran, that I was riding alongside shotgun with you on a fan club, and it didn't work out for us, man. It was he used to play a very important position for us before we traded him to maybe Pittsburgh.
We don't talk.
It
about
was
that.
necessary. It was necessary. It was necessary.
No, it's. I know. I just had to joke because I know that me and you we rode to the end on that one.
Still riding. Still riding.
Still riding. We can have a fun conversation about that. Then I am maybe the most anti-Fields guy that you've ever met. So one of these days we'll have a fun conversation about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to see a Mike pick really quick. I'm not giving too much emphasis. I want to get our experts on more, but I would have gone Jalen Walker at number 10. I love Jalen Walker. I think he'd be really good off the edge, but I think he's a weapon in a defense like Dennis Allen's. I think he could have played stand-up linebacker. He could have filled a few different positions of need and kind of just fit in wherever is best. I thought it would give you really good depth to have a player like that can do so much. But we get to pick number 39 now, the final piece of the 41 is the final piece of the Bryce Young trade. Sorry, 39 was the Bears pick, I believe.
No, you were right. 39 was the Panthers.
39 was the Panthers. So the final piece of the Caleb Williams, the entire team coming over to the Bears from the Panthers is pick number 39. The Bears went Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Mizzou. And let's start with Rishab on this one. You have the whole board here, man. Where are you going to go with this pick?
Yeah, so I'm trying to see the players that were available. So, yeah, Will Johnson is one I would have been happy with for sure. I think he slid down way too far based on what his production was in college football and how good he was at Michigan. That would have been a good pick with either of our, early second round picks. We traded back from the second one, obviously, but I was a massive Will Johnson fan. That's a position where you don't necessarily need help. At the same time, Tyreek Stevenson was one of the worst cornerbacks in all of football last year, and Terrell Smith is decent, but he's not like a star, right? So you have Kyler Gordon in the slot. But yeah, that would have been a pretty good pick. I feel like JT Tuimalu would have been pretty good at edge. Nick Scorton, big Nick Scorton fan. I was kind of bummed we didn't get him. I was hoping we stayed at what was the second pick, 41, to get Nick Scorton, but unfortunately he went off by the time we traded back. So either those guys I would have went with, but at the same time, I'm really happy with the Luther Burden pick. He's a guy that I just did not see available that early. Yeah, that late, I mean, in the draft, like at pick number 39. I think if you went from pure best player available, he was one of the best players available. The only concern I maybe have is it going to be too many mouths to feed on this offense? But at the same time, I mean, Ben Johnson knows how to get the most out of everybody. He did that consistently with the Detroit Lions. So even if it is a little bit like concerning in some ways, it's also not a bad thing to have too many good weapons, right? Like you're never going to complain about that. No. So I was happy with the pick, but if I went other directions, I'd probably say Will Johnson or, one of the other guys I mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. And this is, I mean, I almost expected a clean sweep here just because of the amount of value that the Bears got in Luther Burden. But Rashad, I'm happy to see you naming a couple guys that I really liked: Will Johnson, JT Tuimalu. Ryan, let's go to you next. You have the board here at 39, sir. And what are the Chicago Bears going to be doing?
Well, to be honest, when the pick came in, with all the draft coverage going on, for me, I had it in my head after I saw the pick that I thought he was already taken. For some reason, I thought he was off the board because for the longest time, he was top 20 for me, no question.
Oh, yeah.
And so when they took him, I almost kind of laughed. So there's really no one I would have chosen over Burden, especially with that value. And again, I'll go back to another point I made talking about the Loveland pick. For those of us that have watched Ben Johnson's offense for a few years now, how many plays can you count? Just go back and watch how many receptions guys like, again, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, those types of guys have made, but then replace Luther Burden in that situation. Replace them with Luther Burden in that situation. What could have he done after the catch? What would have happened? What could that play have turned into if it was Luther Burden on the receiving end rather than Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, or, I mean, shoot, like I said, Brock Wright, Craig Reynolds, and any other no-name on that offense? If it was Burden who had caught that ball, what would have happened instead after the catch? And then tell me if you would have rather had anybody else. I wouldn't.
No love for Allen Robinson in 2024?
No.
Good. Whew.
That ship is long sailed.
Long sailed. Yeah. No, there was a right answer to that one. Happy you got it right away. Phil, let's hear for you, man. Number 39 comes up, and you are Ryan Poles. The Bears are getting whom with your pick?
I'm going to stick with the same theme here because I really thought that we were going to go with Ezraku. I thought that he was a really solid edge rusher. I have nothing wrong with the Luther Burden pick. I think that he's a really good weapon. I think he's going to do great in this offense. It gives you a little leverage with the DJ Moore situation. I'm still a big DJ Moore fan, but still the stuff that you've seen on film last year, you have to be a little bit worried. Just maybe a little bit. I think it's going to be cleared up this year, but still, you want someone to maybe put some pressure on the guys in that room, and I think he's going to be an awesome wide receiver 3. But I really thought Ezraku was a great edge rusher. If there's one position that I wasn't like tripping about not selecting a running back till the 7th, I was more surprised that we didn't get an edge earlier. So that's why with these first 2 picks, I wanted to go edge because I thought that we had missed on a couple of guys that were pretty good, or maybe not missed, but there were guys that we could have taken at that position that were really solid. So I liked Ezraku there.
Good pick there. I really like Ezraku as well as a prospect, so I would not have been mad with that at all. Pete, let's hear your pick at number 39 here for the Bears if you were Mr. Ryan Poles.
Well, Ryan and I seem to be in lockstep so far because I have to agree about the Luther Burden pick just off of value. I remember in the week leading up to the draft, he was starting to rise back up draft boards. He started the season like a consensus top 10 pick, wide receiver 1, and then he kind of fell off to the back of the first round or into the day 2. But the week before the draft, he started to climb back up. People put him in the teens, in the early 20s, which is probably where he should have gone based on talent. So if you believe in drafting best player available, I mean, you got 20, 25 picks worth of value getting him at 39. So I think I would stick with that one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Luther Burden was too great of a value to pass up personally. I really think that, he is definitely a game changer type of guy. Absolutely can be, one of the best slot receivers in football from a very early spot, just because of how talented he is after the catch, how good he is. The catch radius that he has for a slot receiver really makes him excel. A lot of these slot receivers got to get the ball right into their chest. Luther Burden's a guy who can still get up and get the football, which not everyone that plays that position can do. And to Ryan's point is the weapons, the lack of weapons, I guess you could say, in Detroit. They didn't have a player like that after even Amon-Ra, even in the 2 slot. So to me, I think Luther Burden is really going to allow them to do a lot of very cool things as an offense. So I'm very excited to see that. I made the executive decision here. You guys did trade pick 41. So every one of you decided to move back. And was anybody like, there's no chance on earth I would have traded back from 41. I don't even want to talk about pick 56. Did anybody say man, I just can't believe they did that. Why would they have traded down?
No, I was pretty happy with that. I'm looking at the draft order here, and there's no one around that area that really leaps out as a gotta have it kind of prospect. And we got an extra 4th rounder out of it too, if I recall. So that was a good trade.
I like that trade a lot.
Yeah, that's good. I've seen that as basically consensus. So we make the exact same trade with the Buffalo Bills. 56 comes up. And Ryan, I'll start with you on this one, kind of go down the line here. Pick 56 comes up, and where are the Bears going?
At that point, I had Trey Amos as my best player on the board. So kind of to Rashab's point, Tyreek is who he is. I'm actually, you know what? I'm sorry. That might have been Dave's point. Whoever's point that was. Tyreek is Tyreek, and he has a lot of potential, but I feel like Trey Amos was or is who Tyreek wants to be. Uh, you have that very physical press corner who establishes himself as an alpha, and I think that would look real nice next to Jalen Johnson. I think Amos would have beaten Stevenson out of a job. I know we can talk about offensive line and competition. We can talk about edge rusher, but in terms of best player available, I thought it was Amos, and that would have been my pick. That said, looking at all of the tackles taken after that pick, if Ryan Poles said I have to come away with a tackle, then I can't disagree with this pick. But if we're
Yeah.
going best player available, I would have gone Trey Amos.
Yeah. And even just looking at the draft listing, it's a pretty big drop off after Ozzie Trapillo and Tate Rutledge, who went right next to him in Detroit. Pretty big drop off to the next offensive lineman. You have to go all the way down from 57 to 81 when the Bengals took Dylan Fairchild. So with that huge drop off, you had to get one of those two guys and get your preferred one of the two. Phil, you're next in line here, man. You have pick number 56, and who are you going with?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with maybe another surprise, but I like Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. I think that I thought that was a sneaky position of need for us was safety. It all kind of depends on Jaquan Brisker. Really hope that he's good. I hope that he's okay. I hope he can come back full form. But even if he does, Byard, he's not long for our secondary as well. So I just thought that Xavier Watts was a really solid player out of Notre Dame. I really thought he was going to go second round. If we would have taken him at 41, I wouldn't have been mad about it. So the fact that he fell as far as he did in the draft and got drafted late in the third, I thought that was really great value for the Falcons. I thought they got a great player at a spot where he really shouldn't have fallen to. So I would have went with Watts from Notre Dame.
Xavier Watts. Yeah, a lot of talk about him in a few of the picks there in the second round for the Bears. Pete, we'll go to you next. You have pick 56, and who are you going with?
I was also going to go with Watts.
Love it.
Based on my pick so far, I had Tyler Booker for the offensive line, then Luther Burden, sticking with him. But Xavier Watts had 13 interceptions over his last two college seasons. I mean, that's just absurd production. And sure, interceptions go up and down to be expected, but he clearly has a knack for finding the ball, for being where the ball is and coming away with it. And if you want to win in the NFL, then you need to get your offense as many possessions as possible. And that's what he does. And yeah, safety is kind of a sneaky need. Brisker, I love Brisker, but he's just hurt a lot. And there's no guarantee he's back after this year. Byard is on the wrong side of 30 at this point. So he's not going to be around too much longer. So the safety position still needs to be addressed pretty soon. So I would have gone with Watts at that pick.
Watts is a good pick. It's Phil and Pete in lock and stepping key right there. Rishab, are you going with them, or do you have a different pick here in mind?
I was gonna go with that, but I'll change it up a little bit to keep it fresh. I'll go Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. I think he also had the chance to be like a first round pick if he didn't get injured last year. I think he would have been really good behind Jaquan Brisker, another Penn State player. I think that would have been a fun pairing for sure. But at the same time, I'm still not mad at the pick the Bears made because the Bears do have a need at tackle, swing tackle, especially. Larry Borum is gone, and I don't trust Kiran Amagaji. I mean, I know he's young. Yeah, not Larry Borum. I don't even know where he is right now. It's probably on the Falcons with Ryan Pace at this point. But yeah, like we don't have a good swing tackle right now. Like if Borum went down or Wright went down, we're kind of screwed. Like I don't trust Amagaji to man that spot as of now. So I think Ozzy being pretty pro ready and having, a good measurables and like a lot to build on there. I think it's good to have another option there. But if I had to go with someone else, I'd do Ken Winston Jr.
Kevin Winston, good pick there. We all kind of going secondary here because I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going to go after a specific corner who I do see some potential at a different position for. I would go with Siobhan Revel out of ECU, 24-year-old cornerback. But man, he is tall, he is fast, one of the most athletic players to ever come out of the draft at the cornerback position. really good in deep coverage, but he's also really good press coverage at the line with his long reach. And, he's a very strong player. So he could have been a corner, but I also think that, he also may have a potential to play safety because of how good he is deep on balls. I feel like I see a lot of that in Zay Frazier, who the Bears ended up with. I kind of feel like Siobhan Revel and just a step down is Zay Frazier, a little bit lower in kind of everything, like kind of like a diet Siobhan Revel. But I really like him. I think that Dallas got a really good player there, player I would have taken, just to see if there might be some flexibility in the secondary for him there. And that brings us to pick number 62. So pick 62 comes up as part of Buffalo trade that get into pick 62. And
We
Phil,
love
we'll start with
Buffalo.
you here, man. Where do you go if you have the board?
So before I take anyone else, I actually really loved the Shamar Turner pick. It was like it was a top 3 pick of the Bears for me in the draft. I mean, I guess that's kind of a cop out because that was their 4th selection. But like, I really thought that he was a solid pick there. And I think that he could actually sneakily, depending on what they want to do with him, he could be the guy that technically is coming off the edge. It depends on what they want to do with him. But he was up and down that line at Texas A&M. So I think he's a versatile player. So I'm excited for Shamar Turner, but I'm going to appease Bears Twitter right now and take Caleb Johnson from Iowa. I'm going to take a running back. I'm going to go ahead and everybody can put their pitchforks away, chill the fuck out a little bit, and no, we want the Bears Civil War too, I guess, but I'm taking Caleb Johnson. I think that he's a solid player. I think he has his faults. I would have liked to see him compete with DeAndre Swift and see if he could have taken that job. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. But I'm, sorry, Bear. I'm doing that for you, Bears Twitter. That's for you.
Ooh, getting called out. Okay, Phil, I see you. Okay, Phil. Coming after Bears Twitter. Pete, I want to hear from you next. Number 62 comes up, and where are the Bears going?
So this is the first pick that I wasn't too excited about as it happened. Shamar Turner, he's just could be good, could not be good. So obviously hope he's good, but I'm not too expecting too much from him. One player I was shocked was still on the board and was really hoping Poles would take here. I was really disappointed we passed on the pass rusher from Arkansas, Landon Jackson. I thought he could have gone early 30s. We could have picked him at 39, and I would have been excited. Um, it's I think it was Philip mentioned earlier. It's kind of baffling that we didn't come up with a defensive end in this draft, considering how much of a need that was. And Landon Jackson can be honestly could be a day one starter, given the Bears' lack of talent at that position. Could be coached up by Dennis Allen, mentored by Montez Sweat to become a really special player. I mean, he's big, he's long, he's fast. Um, yeah, that seemed like a slam dunk for me. Poles didn't agree, so I just have to hope that he's right and I'm stupid.
Well, you're
I
not
love that pick,
stupid.
though.
Well, I was Marine, so
Hey, man. So did you actually eat crayons? I have to ask on. Was that a thing?
yeah, grape is the best one.
All right, sweet. That's what I thought. It's all love, man.
That's awesome. Rishab, man, where are you going with number 62? Where do you think the Bears should have gone here instead? Or do you like the pick?
Yeah, I'd go pass rusher too. Princely Uman Mielen from Mississippi. Like I think that would have been a fantastic pick as well. I think there's a lot to like in his his college tape and like his measurables and all that. Would have been fun reuniting him with Javon Dexter as well on this defensive line. So, I feel like edge was probably a bigger need than interior defensive line, defensive tackle, because we already got 3 players now at defensive tackle. But at the same time, some of these guys can rotate out, like Javon Dexter, for example. So I wasn't horribly mad at the pick. I just wasn't like very familiar with Turner's game, but after like studying him a little bit more, I'm 100% okay with the pick. But I would say edge was probably maybe a little bit bigger of a need.
Does anyone agree with the speculation that they plan to put him out back on the edge because he did play defensive end in college before being kicked inside? Does anyone think that's a legit possibility?
I'll jump in really quick and say I think it's absolutely a possibility. I mean, all offseason we've heard about the Dennis Allen prototype for defensive ends, and they want a big, strong, aggressive guy like Shamar Turner. So I definitely could see it. I don't know if Rashab, Phil, or Ryan feel the same way or separate.
I
could
definitely agree. Yeah, absolutely.
go
It
ahead, Ryan.
happens.
Yeah.
I was I don't have a whole lot other than what you just said, Davey, but it happens quite often. You see a lot of players around the league that they can just line up anywhere and cause havoc. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities by any means.
Yeah. Rishab, sound like you're agreeing
Yeah,
as well?
I could see it as well. Like probably not like full time, but like splitting, inside outside. I think that'll be pretty cool to keep opposing offenses on their toes too. So I'd agree.
Yeah. Phil, you're on board, right?
On board? Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
I could just tell you, I could tell you the whole you were now with it. Yeah. No, I think that would be a great move. Ryan, you have that flexibility now. You have that Shamar Turner available. Or are you going to take that and use it as we were just talking about? Or are you going a different direction here?
No, Pete and I, for the second time, are in lockstep. Landon Jackson was one of my absolute favorite prospects in this draft. Um, and it was solidified during Senior Bowl week because just watching the guy practice, I mean, you can say what you want about practice reps, especially when it's, wide receivers and, catching passes from quarterbacks who are not under any pressure. But during the drill time, watching Landon Jackson, the phrase that immediately came to mind was that this dude is a man among boys. If you watch Landon Jackson out there, even next to the other defensive ends,
He's a big motherfucker.
that boy
Yeah.
is a big boy. Like that dude is a man among boys. And watching him play too, I mean, I know he's got his moves and whatnot, but I loved watching him play because to me, it didn't seem like he had a plan a lot of the time. To me, it looked like Jackson was just out for blood.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know what
love it.
Phil's doing. It's very
No,
distracting.
I was saying I loved it. I
No.
love the Landon Jackson. Me and Dave were talking about Landon Jackson. He gave me the lowdown, because I wasn't as familiar. And when we were at the draft, he was telling me all about him. And I thought that Landon Jackson would have been a sweet pick, and that's why I just wanted to support
Got
you
it.
guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Got
I
it.
feel like that might be a draft decision that we come to regret in the not so distant
Yeah.
future. I have, especially he went to Buffalo. I mean, that's one of the best landing spots for him. So I feel like we're going to see some big numbers from him, and I'll be a little upset about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I agree.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that I love Buffalo's draft. It was all anti-Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm fucking dying for them to beat the shit out of Kansas City. Please, for the love of God, I need it. I need it like I need water. Give it to me.
I love it. I actually, fun news here, guys, is that I'm with Ryan and Pete. That's a guy that I had on my board for sure. I love Landon Jackson.
Sweet.
Man, he is long and tall and athletic, and yeah, as you said, man, it's not always going to look pretty, but man, he is going to do everything in his power to get to that quarterback, set that edge. Smart player. I really like Landon Jackson. I really wish the Bears would have taken him there. That was my preferred pick. But I do like the Shamar pick. I think that versatility is something that Landon Jackson definitely does not have. I just think he's so much better at what he does do that it makes it that would have been my pick there. And if you guys are okay with it, there's one more pick we could talk about. I know that it's a late night for everybody, but if you guys would sit with me to do pick 132 as well, which was probably the most controversial pick for the Bears in the entire draft, maybe even by a large margin. I'd love to start off with Pete on this one, unless anyone needs to jump off. But pick 132, man, Ruben Hippolyte. I don't know if he's on anybody's board as the top guy. Was he on your board? Did you like the pick, or are you thinking you've gone elsewhere on this one?
I had never heard of him before the draft. I don't think any of us, if we're being honest, had ever heard of him. If he was on anyone's draft board, that person should probably touch grass, if we're being honest. There's life outside of scouting college prospects. Yeah, no, honestly, literally any pick besides that one.
You should take in the rest of the board.
Looking at who was available, a couple of names I like were Jalen Royals, the receiver from Utah State, Tonka Hemingway, the defensive tackle from South Carolina. I actually liked him a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, great name. And I think he could bring a lot of juice to the interior of the defensive line. Billings, he's coming off a big injury. He's getting older. I think it's not a need on the roster, but it's not solidified. So the more help we get there, the better. One more name I had on there. I really liked Raywin Lane the third, the safety from Navy,
Okay.
who
Love
did beat
that.
Army this year.
Okay. Now you'll love it.
But yeah, it's just another more depth in the secondary. He's the kind of guy I think could be like an Elijah Hicks, where he's a day 3 safety, never anything special, but when someone goes down, he fills in, and at worst, your passing game doesn't fall apart. Depth is so important in the NFL. It really can't be overlooked, especially in the secondary. Having guys who can step on the field at a moment's notice and just keep the ship afloat.
Yeah, good pick
Oh,
there,
yeah.
man. I really like that a lot. All three of those guys definitely. I know we're on a lot of people's boards. At least the first two for sure, and they were taken very soon after. With the next pick was Jalen Royals. 3 picks later, Las Vegas took Tonka Hemingway. Rishab, I'll go over to you next. What are you thinking for this pick here? I don't know if anyone had Ruben Hippolyte, but did you change your mind maybe since the draft and say that's the right move?
Absolutely not. I couldn't find any information on him really. I could barely find highlights of him.
He's lying.
So
We were on the live and he loved the pick.
yeah, right. We were all like, "What? Like, who is this guy?" Never heard of
Yeah,
him in my
yeah,
life.
it was-
But for that to be a 4th round pick, I just don't get it. Like, it didn't like in my grade for this pick, I think I gave it a D, which is probably still being generous. I mean, I'm trying to trust the coaching staff. We have a totally new coaching staff. Maybe they saw something in him and they can deploy him in some way. But I only see like a special teamer in him. And if you get a special teamer in the 4th round, I mean, sure, that's fine. But I feel like there's other guys available. Like Braden Swinson is somebody I really wanted. I just thought I was so surprised he went that late. Apparently, he had some issues with like character or whatever. Like I was seeing on Twitter, so I'm not sure how true that is. But if he fell that far, maybe there had to be something. So, but if you saw him play on the football field, like I feel like he would have been a good addition to this edge room and probably a lot more impactful of a player than Hippolyte. But yeah, again, hopefully I'm wrong.
I love it. Ryan, definitely the craziest pick of the draft for Bears fans. Would you have made the same decision here?
No.
I knew I didn't have to ask, but I just for the sake of the
No,
show,
it's
I thought I
funny.
would.
You gotta keep asking now. Like you gotta definitely ask me again, please. I'm gonna go with yes. Spoiler alert.
I think what comes to mind here, even though it's a 4th round pick versus the 2nd round pick situation, the first thing that comes to my mind is that I think this is going to be, and I'm sorry, Bears fans, I'm very genuinely sorry to bring this up, but this just feels so much like an Adam Shaheen
Oh
situation.
fuck, man, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
It
Yeah.
feels so much like an Adam Shaheen situation, like a guy that may have gone undrafted. You know, Shaheen probably could have gone in the 5th round, and we took him 3 rounds higher. So no, I wouldn't have taken him. Instead, this is where I would have gone running back, and I would have gone who I dubbed Matt Forte 2.0 in DJ
Whoa.
Giddens.
Okay.
Giddens is, I like his sneaky size, and a lot like when you watched Matt Forte break off bigger runs, he didn't look like he had the speed to be able to do so, but he did it because he had those slower, longer strides, and somehow it worked. And Giddens is very, very much the same and has very similar skill sets where he's a great receiver out of the backfield. He's extremely patient. He's not going to explode off the screen in terms of athleticism or breakaway speed, but you know, he makes one guy miss and waits for his block to set up at the 2nd level, and the next thing you know, he's gone. And he is a very, very smart player who I think went to a good situation. I mean, Jonathan Taylor he's a phenomenal back. He's one of my favorite college prospects ever. And you know, just pray that that guy can stay healthy. But if he goes down, I think Giddens is an automatic star. He's one of those late fantasy season handcuffs that everyone's going to want to have. You know, I think he very well could have gone in the early 4th round, if we're being honest, maybe late 3rd.
Okay.
But I liked Giddens a lot as a guy that Ben Johnson would have a lot of fun with.
I love it, man. Phil, Where are you gonna go here? Wait, oh, I gotta do a home. Do you
Yeah.
would you have done the same thing here? Do you have Ruben Hippolyte on your board or
Yeah, man. The next Lance Briggs. Just kidding. I'm
yes?
totally kidding. Just kidding.
Sorry, Lance. We're sorry. We don't mean that. We were joking.
Yes, absolutely. Lance, don't kill me. Please don't tackle me. I'll die. Um, but I'm gonna go. Yeah. First of all, that pick. It was bad. It felt bad. I really hope that he proves us all wrong. How it would be hilarious if he ended up being like the most productive like person in this draft class. There's like a 0.00001% chance of that, but just be funny. But I wouldn't have taken him. And to give an idea of like why I'm about to say who I'm about to say, it's because I didn't consider like the picks I had made already as part of my class, I guess, because I would have taken Swinton here too. Now, I just wanted to state that because I wouldn't have taken 3 edge rushers in my draft class. But I'm just saying that I thought that Braden Swinton was the best player on the board for me. He's an explosive player. I loved watching him play at LSU. And again, it was just like another thing for me where I'm like, okay, we could have went edge though. So I don't know. It is what it is. I liked your DJ Giddens pick though, Ryan, because when we were going into day 3, I actually did like a stream with Davey and Rishab, and that was one of my players to watch for actually. So I appreciate you giving DJ Giddens some love there. I wouldn't have minded him either. He would have been a solid choice. So,
Yeah.
but we're on the Manon guy. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Manon guy hype train now. So everyone all aboard. Choo choo. Boiler up.
Yes, sir. Hop on.
Let's go.
We love Manungai. Okay, I'm for that. I definitely would not have taken Ruben Hippolyte. Ruben Hippolyte. I said this with Zay Frazier. I'm gonna say it. I could see a really strong in the box safety out of Ruben Hippolyte. I don't know if maybe they saw something nobody else saw, and that's why they had to jump on it. But the pick still astounds me to this day. I still can't believe his name was called. I have 2 players I'm going to go with. First of all, I do want to say that one of my 2 is also DJ Giddens. I loved his tape. He is get away from defenders. He makes guys miss. A guy who sticks 4 years at a school like everyone heard this with Ashton Genty. A guy who sticks there, a guy who chooses to go to Kansas State knowing they're not going to get him the highest publicity. He said, "I'm just going to put my head down, go to work, and see what comes from it." So I really like him a lot. In my redraft, we also did not take Colston Loveland. So we have not taken a tight end yet. There is a tight end that I really like if we had my draft before this as well, which is a Rondé Gadsden out of Syracuse. 6'5", former receiver. Him and Kyle McCord really did work out there in Northern New York this year, and I really enjoyed watching them play. He's kind of like Colston Loveland, where he gets away from linebackers, way too tall for a slot corner, has former wide receiver speed, a guy who was productive, 7 touchdowns last year as a tight end in FBS level. So I would have also liked one of those 2 guys with that pick here. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the draft here. We wanted to kind of stick in the 50-minute to an hour range of this show and give everyone their time to talk about the draft. So I'm going to go ahead, if it's okay with everybody, and start bringing us home by asking Rishab if he could share what he's working on, where people can find him, and where we can see all of his great work at.
Yeah, currently not working on anything. I'm gonna be having a Caleb Williams hype video out sometime later this summer, 2025 Bears hype video as well, and then maybe do something for the rookie class as well. Been a little bit busy lately, but yeah, you can follow me on YouTube, DaWindyCity Productionz, Twitter at DWC Prods. I'll be active throughout the off season and the season as well. But really looking forward to this season. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. Pete, how about you next, man? What are you working on? Where can the people find you and get all your info at?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, on Twitter, at Pete underscore Martuneac. I'm a staff writer for Bears on SI. So if you go to Chicago Bears on SI, you can find all my articles there. I just dropped a piece today, um, looking at the George Pickens trade, and I remember back in 2022, people were livid that we didn't draft George Pickens. I was cool with it. I didn't want that head case on a team, and I think that got borne out successfully. I think Ryan Poles was vindicated in his choices. So I wrote that today. You can read that if you like on Bears at SI.
I love it, man. Ryan, you've been very active in continuing your very fast upwards growth in sports media. Tell us where people can find you at, what you're currently working on, and getting yourself involved with.
Well, it's been fun because I get to cover the whole league now. If you want specific Bears content, not just written by me here and there, but other fantastic writers that are with FanSided, beargoggles.com.
Yes,
My
sir.
guy Jordan Campbell has been there for a while and is doing a killer job. But a lot of my stuff can be found. I write for Bear Goggles here and there, and at the moment, kind of the big project is getting ready for schedule release, and I can't wait to find out when we play the Cowboys because maybe we can help Matt Eberflus lose yet another locker room.
Let's fucking go.
Oh man, considering the people in that locker room, just knowing Micah Parsons is disgruntled about his contract situation, pairing him with Matt Eberflus is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That's a phenomenal call on that, Ryan. And Ryan, are we able to talk about the jerseys really quick? Are we able to show off the super cool? We got the matching pinstripe.
Oh, yeah.
Going right now. I mean,
That's right.
Come on. How to define
One of my
aura?
favorites.
It's the define aura. The two of us just matching pinstripe Rodman jerseys. Love to see it. Phil, I want to hear where we can find you. And is there any way we could listen to your wonderful voice maybe this weekend that maybe we also see Rishab on and myself even maybe?
Wow, there might be. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw these on. If you guys didn't know, I wear crazy fucking glasses all the time. So
They are crazy.
that's kind of
He
my
does wear 'em.
gimmick. But we're bringing it home, right? So I'm gonna wear these. So you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. At my long ass name, but on Twitter it'll be at JayC Phil at J Shy_Bulls for all of my Chicago Bulls content. I'll be bringing content every day this off season. I'm grinding my ass off. And then we can also be found at Profane Pod, where me and Davey are doing our best to, roast the people who deserve to be roasted, but also bringing entertainment to the people of Twitter. As far as this weekend, we will be live streaming for WWE Backlash. So, and it's going to be me. It's going to be Davey. It's going to be Rishab and my father, PCV3, who's actually up in here leaving comments. But it's going to be awesome. And spoiler alert, we're going to be starting up a Just Another Year Pro Wrestling channel soon. So if you dig our pro wrestling content, it's going to be us four doing that. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. Join us on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of the most excited I've ever been is a startup of this Just Another Year Pro Wrestling. It'll be a little WWE centered, but man, we love talking our wrestling. We do love it. So you could find me at Davey.17 on Twitter. And as mentioned, man, give us a subscription here on YouTube. Yeah, you got to go after all these people. I mean, this is some of the best sports content in the entire world right now. What Pete, Rishab, and Ryan are throwing out, man, if you are not following them, you are so missing out. Give them a follow everywhere they went. If you have to rewind right now, go back, get those ads. We'll put them in the description. Give all of them a follow. But yeah, at Profane Pod on Twitter. We're really trying to drive our YouTube stuff. So if you mind leaving a like on this video, if you're watching on YouTube, giving a subscription, we would super appreciate it. As Professionally Profane keeps building its ground roots. So for everybody that's joined us today, I am David Ritterhoff. We all thank you so much for joining us and look forward to catching you on the next one.